Here we go. This is it. Lock in, guys.
Hey everyone, today I'm joined by Tyson Swatsky and David Pritchett from the NHL gameplay team. Today we're going to cover some commonly asked questions regarding gameplay, starting with a hot topic from NHL 25, the LT. How has that changed in NHL 26?
Yeah, for LT or vision control, we didn't want this massive global change that impacted vision control across the board. We really wanted to focus on the abuse cases that we saw, so people using it on every zone entry, things that we wanted to do to address that was for left trigger in general, we have a speed cap on it and a speed penalty, so that if you are choosing to use it north, just up ice endlessly off the rush, that it isn't as effective as just skating normally. So that was one of the key pieces we wanted to address. The other piece was using the pivot mechanic, so where you can use the right stick and pick which way you want to pivot. People were spamming this down the ice, and we wanted to add a consecutive penalty there, so that if you do it once, you're still rewarded for good timing, but the more you use it, the more you'll get more friction applied to you and slow down. To address the hip checking feedback, we really wanted to get rid of using it as a forechecking tool. That was the main factor. So the main adjustment that we did was we're taking and factoring in the power and the outcome of the hit based off of how much the player needs to turn. When you're using it on the forecheck, skating forward, spinning 180, you'll get penalized power-wise quite a bit. That allows us to keep the power for situations where you're back skating and angling players off to deliver hip checks and keep that strong.
Yeah, I agree, Ty, and I also think that the game looks a lot more like real hockey now. It was being abused so often that the game just stopped kind of looking like real hockey. So by toning these things down and making them less effective in certain situations, the game now starts to feel a lot more like real hockey, and of course look like real hockey too.
For addressing reverse hitting, the main feedback was just the invulnerability and how easily you could skate through other players.
I mean, reverse hitting is so annoying.
So for reverse hitters, this time around, we'll be able to have players stumble who are doing the reverse hit and absorb some of the contact, but not just cleanly skate through the player as easily as before. Similar factors determine like height and weight, the relative speed of the players, the ratings, the timing. It's just not going to be as easy to breeze through as previously.
The feedback that we got from the community, I mean, kind of boils down to there just being too many of them. I think there was around 70 X factors originally. As a result, what happened there is that they just kind of felt watered down. It wasn't super clear what a given X factor did or whether it did anything at all. And they certainly weren't all balanced. Like there were some that were clearly more impactful to our users, like elite edges or wheels, than others, right? So the first thing that we did was we kind of distilled this down to the 28 most important X factors that we felt would provide the most impact, and we wanted to make sure that all 28 of these were viable. None of them would be left on the sidelines, and I think we achieved that. In addition to that, you know, the other point that I want to make here is we've definitely simplified kind of the activation scenarios in the game. It's much more clear to the user through things like the UI that we use when an X factor is triggering, so that you can learn how these things actually trigger in the game and how your opponent teams are equipped so that you can learn how to defend against them better. It's going to be much more obvious when these X factors are triggering in the game, and that's super important.
Yeah,
We're using our indicators now to actually communicate what X factor is triggering versus kind of a generic icon, but also we have animations that are very specific to a lot of these X factors as well, which kind of just show you through the body language of the various players that, oh, you're doing something kind of unique and special here. And this is super helpful not only to be able to see in the moment when a given X factor is triggering, but also to be able to learn how your opponents are equipped and how they're utilizing these X factors so you can learn how to defend against them.
With the new X factors, we also wanted to make sure that we still have a variety of X factors for different player types as well. So power forwards get their abilities, playmakers, snipers, defensive and offensive defensemen still have tools available to them, and then goaltenders, of course, as well.
Player separation was another big piece of feedback we were hearing from the community. And one thing I want to touch on here is that we're using NHL Edge data this year for the very first time. And what the NHL Edge data is data that's collected from the players during every single NHL game using these infrared cameras and these trackers that they have on their jerseys. And we now have access to that data. We are able to look at pieces of data for every single player in the game, like shot speed, where they are on the ice, and most importantly, as kind of pertains pertains to separation, their acceleration, and their skating speed as well. So when you have a player like Connor McDavid, he's now obviously different than a player like, Ryan Reeves or somebody like that. No shade intended. Ryan Reeves has a different set of skills, but you know where I'm coming from. So NHL Edge data is something that we're really excited about. It kind of affects a huge part of the game, but definitely it pertains especially to player separation.
To address the concerns around goalies getting stuck and locked into saves, we allow goalies now to make saves out of saves and branching into more reactions out of those cases. We added in a new reflex style save to help in tight shots. That was one main problem with the goalie not being able to react to shots in tight, so we are able to get out in front of the puck more preemptively in cases and really jam against the post with new jam saves as well. In addition to that, we added a lot more in our 80+ animations that we added this year for goalies, more reactions and just more behaviors to pucks just on net or going in the net, reactions to getting scored on. That makes goalies much more aware of what's going on the ice and makes it much more believable.
If I can just say, I remember the moment when Carson, we were all kind of sitting around his desk and he had this kind of new tech to show off about the saves being made out of saves, and there was a shot on net, a slap shot from the point. There was a high tip right in front of the net, and the goaltender originally thought that he was going to have to make a glove save, and the puck went low after the tip, and he kind of kicked out his left leg to make the save. And we all were just like, okay, this is a trailer moment. This changes the game for us. Obviously, one of the big pieces of feedback that we get from the community every single year is how do we make our game play more like the real thing? How do we make the players on the ice feel more like their respective real-world counterparts? We've already talked about the edge data a little bit, but do you want to talk about, Ty, the attributes, the tendencies?
Yeah, for tendencies, we basically look at players' archetype, the X factors, and their attributes, and weigh in tendencies and their player behaviors based off of those three things. So you'll see players who are more physical, lay the body more, players who are more stick check oriented, really look to deliver stick checks off the rush and kind of angle players out, really trying to nail a lot of the player specific differentiation. So you'll see players like Makar kind of take the puck to the middle off of face off with their elite edges looking for shots on net. You'll see Draisaitl down low looking for the sharp angle shots, Ovechkin with one-timer in their particular top circles area, but really trying to deliver both authenticity and have the players utilize their skill sets and strengths.
Thanks for that, guys. I'm excited to see how all these changes come to life in NHL 26. We're just a few days away. Any final thoughts before we wrap this thing up?
And I just want to say thank you to everybody that's been providing kind of the feedback. We are absolutely listening, and we know that there's still a lot that we weren't able to answer right yet, but we are listening to everything. So really appreciate all of the feedback. Keep the conversation going, and we're going to see you September 5th.
What do you guys think? You guys not happy, or what do you think? What do you guys think? Now that looks like the same meta. I mean, we'll see. I mean, the LT is gone, right? So, I mean, that's going to change things a little bit at least, right? Regardless, like LTing is, I mean, it's just not the same at all. I mean, 9 clips of mine. I'm famous. Yeah, I forgot how many I had. I definitely had at least
zone
like
entry, things that we
6
wanted
or
to
something.
do to address that.
It was like basically me and you, Thrash.
In general, we have a speed cap on it and a speed penalty, so that if
I don't know. I like some of the things I saw for sure. Like, I mean, it is not like, again, I know everyone's gonna say, "Oh, Henreek, you're an EA Glazer." All I'm gonna say is, guys, is I like how the goaltenders are looking in the game. Are they gonna be good for the long haul? I don't know, but to me, that was a major problem in NHL 25. The goalies were atrocious, absolutely atrocious.
Override mechanic,
so I mean
where you
that
can
could be
use the right
game changing in
and
itself.
Pick which way you want to pivot.
If full zone breakaways are getting consistently saved, this game is.
People are.
I mean, no, I don't think it'll be
We
consistently.
wanted to add a consecutive penalty there, so that if you
Are greens nerfed? I mean, I feel like. I mean, it's tough to tell, Sky, because, I mean, you're going to be using lower overall cards, right?
do it once, you're
So,
still
yeah,
rewarded
they're probably
for
not
good
going to go in
timing,
there, right? But,
the more
you know,
you
when
use it, the
better
more
cards
you'll get
release,
more
maybe they
friction
will. I don't
applied to
know,
you and
right?
slow down. To address the hip checking feedback, we really wanted to get rid of using it as a forechecking tool. That was the main
I did.
factor.
Me and Thrash
so
actually
the
did.
main adjustment that we did was we're taking.
I I mean, they didn't go in every time, Sky. So I mean, it took a lot. Like eventually, it took like 10 of them, and eventually it went in. Yeah, but it wasn't. But again, we're using shit cards, right? Backends are pretty strong.
And factoring in the power.
Backends are pretty
based
strong.
Off of how much the player needs to turn. When you're using it on the forecheck, skating forward, spinning 180, you'll get penalized power-wise quite a bit. That allows us to keep the power for situations where you're back skating and
it was being abused situation
through other players. The players, the ratings, the timing.
This is my clip, guys. Is that good?
Be as easy.
But yeah, how's quick release rate? 2 OP. Like, so Matthews, it seems unbelievable.
Community, I mean, kind of boils down to there just being too.
Like, Matthews is probably going to be ridiculous to use, I would say. They didn't show what happens if you use LT. I mean, basically what happens is, like, you're going to just, like, spin. Like, it's hard to explain. Like, you're going to, like, go in a... It's hard to explain. It just doesn't work, though, basically. Like, you're going to look stupid if you do it.
We kind of distilled this down.
It doesn't really work, you know, is what I mean.
The 28 most important...
But the more you do it, the less effective it is what they said. Yeah, it doesn't really, like... You can't spam, and, like, pick up speed. It just doesn't work like that anymore. It just doesn't.
Felt would provide.
Can't wait till complete about how you want to score. Yeah, and then that's probably what's gonna happen. And then they're gonna like buff like, or they're gonna nerf goalies or something like that. That's probably what'll happen. Goalies.
Sure that all 28 of these were viable. None of them would kind of be left on the side.
Goalies are probably gonna get like buffed or nerfed at some point.
You know, the other point that I want to make here is.
But I mean, I like the trailer generally. I mean, I wouldn't say trailer. Also, my franchise mode lovers. I mean, look at this. This looks like a playoff series, game 1, finally. Wow. You love to see that, a little Easter egg as well, right? W. And then what else? Where's your clip, Thrash, where it shows the camera? Do you know when it's in? Like how deep into it is? Took 23 years, I know. But I don't know, looking at the clip, doesn't look hard to score. Yeah, I mean, my clips I played on you know, All-Star difficulty. I didn't play it on Rookie because I feel like that would have been kind of cringe, so I put it on All-Star. So my gameplay is on All-Star, the clips that I put in here. But yeah, let me see. Mine were on All-Star as well, since that's what it is online. Exactly. Yeah, I didn't want to like put it on like Rookie. I mean, because then obviously, yeah, I could have got easier clips, but that'd have been crazy. Let me see. Rash, where do you know where your clip is? Where shows the camera in the top right? Might be here, right?
Achieve that. In addition to that, you know,
I think it is maybe. You're on it. Then it went back to the beginning. What are we doing? I don't remember the timestamps. Is passing better? Can you pass on a 3-on-2 or no? I think it's kind of the same. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, here it is. Yeah, look. You get a penalty, a little camera pops up at the top right, and you see your goalie running off the ice. Pretty funny, you have to admit, Loki. That's an NHL 2K classic right there. But yeah, Liz played Rookie, played against Burt. Okay.
Game, and that's super important. Like we're using.
Looks good presentation-wise. Yeah, no, it's solid.
Communicate what X factor is triggering versus kind of a generic.
But yeah, goalies, they seem to have some pretty nice reactions, right? But yeah, exactly. I'm going to say the same thing, guys. Like, I'm not going to say, oh, this is it. Look at this. The game's unreal. No. I need to play online, you know, 10, 20, 30 games to really get an idea of what the gameplay is like. That's why I'm not going to say that, oh, yeah, everything's fixed. The game's unreal. I'm not going to just be like that and be blind. I'm sorry. It's not. Graphics are pretty much the same.
Icon, but also we have animations.
AI banging the puck so much. I feel like, yeah, I have noticed that a little bit in these clips. Honestly, in the little bit I played, I don't think it's really that
to a lot
often.
Of these X factors as well, which kind of also to be able to, for the very first time, pieces of data for every single. You know, Ryan Reeves or somebody like that. No shade intended. Ryan Reeves has a different set.
He said no shade intended.
You know where I'm coming from. So NHL Edge data is something that we're
out of those more in our 80 much more aware.
But yeah, you can still like do like little spins and stuff, like because this is my clip too. I'm so good. But no, look.
Any final thoughts before we wrap this thing up?
And I just want to say thank you to everybody that
this little elite edges here. I mean, like you can still kind of like turn pretty nicely here, like. But like that's it. Like you're not able to like spam LTs, I feel like. Like you can still make some cool like Elite Edges is unbelievable. That's all I'm gonna say. And Wheels. Elite Edges and Wheels are probably the best X Factors, and even maybe Quick Release, I'd say, are right up there as well. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm excited. Hopefully the game is good, and yeah, I mean, thank you guys so much for watching this quick little reaction video to this gameplay. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below.